think we had a great tribute to a great man, a great, wonderful guy. So I hope you liked it. You know, Doug, if you have any energy questions, we're ready.
At the end of the ceremony, Mr. President, you and Erica shared a moment. If you don't mind me asking, what words did you have for her?
Well, I've gotten to know her over the years. She's great. You know, Charlie always used to say she's very smart. He would always say that. You don't necessarily say that about a lot of people, but he always felt she was. And she's got a good heart, and, you know, she's got a shot at making it even more special if you think about it. She's going to do good. I think she's going to do a good job. That's a hard thing to do. You know, it's one thing to make a speech, but with that, for her to make that speech, because I had a really good relationship.
Mr. President, I'm with Turning Point USA. We just want to say thank you for being there. Thank you for speaking, and we offer our deepest condolences because I know Charlie was a friend of yours.
Well, that gentleman right there was pointing at you, and I like his question. So that means he thought you would, or make a statement just like you.
They're married.
Are you married?
Yes.
Congratulations. When did the ceremony take place?
It was I was just wondering.
He's a great guy.
He is. He's the best. I was just wondering because there are a number of spots in and around the White House that are named after specific people. I was wondering if you would be considering naming something after Charlie to honor his legacy.
Yeah, there are different little areas. Yeah, I like that idea. But we're giving up, I think, even more importantly, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest civilian. I guess they say, you know, if you think Congressional Medal of Honor is for military, and this is for the civilian. So that's a great tribute to him. Great guy.
Are there any more details around that upcoming event that you can share with us? Any further details about that event?
I think the event was just a flawless event. It was beautiful. I thought the last song was incredible, the way it was as we were leaving. In fact, I think I said, who is singing that song? And I think what I'll do is I'll grab it and I'll use it at rallies. We have rallies to get people elected, and I'll use it at some of the rallies. Wasn't that beautiful? That was the best rendition I've ever heard.
Mr. President, what can you and your staff do to make sure that over the next 3 years that you carry forth the vision and the faith of Charlie in a way that honors him? What can you guys do over the next 3 years?
I think it's going to be automatic, actually. And I think Turning Point is going to be a very big factor. I mean, you see the people. Now, the press reported 200,000 because they were, you know, different areas, different stadiums and everything. There's a lot of people. That's an NFL stadium. I think it's going to be automatic. I really do. I think it's automatic. They're great people. He had a good staff, and they're great people.
Mr. President, everyone...
How did your husband do with that question? I thought quite good.
Great.
Mr. President, everyone's saying that Charlie brought you and Elon back together. Is that true?
Well, Elon came over and said hello. And no, it's nothing to do with that. I thought it was nice. You know, he came over, we had a little conversation. We had a very good relationship, but it was nice that he came over. Dana White was there, the great Dana White. You know, the big question is having the UFC fight I know you won't accept tickets because you're with the fake news. You're not allowed to accept tickets, but we're going to have a UFC fight right at the White House. And we're going to end up probably 6,000 people in front of the White House, and then on the ellipse we're going to have 80 or 90,000. It's going to be an unbelievable event, but a lot of people are talking about it.
An energy question for you, an energy question. You've been calling...
We have the right man. Go ahead.
I got the experts. You've been calling on Europe to stop buying Russian oil. The U.S. has imported $755 million worth of Russian uranium and plutonium so far just this year. That's up from the Biden administration last year, about $100 million. Can you ask Europe to cut off purchasing those kinds of products?
Doug, do you know anything about that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But this goes back not only drill, baby, drill, but we've got a mine, baby, mine. We allowed ourselves to fall under dependence of both China and Russia for critical minerals. America buying uranium from Russia is not acceptable. And so we're working very hard, Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, myself, to make sure that we've got a plan so that the United States can get back into domestic enriched uranium production as quickly as possible.
Sir, on Venezuela, you said that, let me quote your tweet here.
No boats in the water anymore.
Yes, well, you said...
Additional boats. You don't even find a fishing boat. You don't even find cruise liners anymore. There's nothing in the water near Venezuela. It's actually strange. You know what that means? That means there are no drugs coming in.
You said that the price they'll pay will be incalculable if they don't take people back.
I did say that.
What does that mean?
Well, you're going to have to figure that out.
Mr. President,
That one,
Mr.
yeah.
President, on your autism announcement tomorrow, multiple news outlets are reporting that you plan to tie Tylenol to increased risk of autism. Can you confirm that?
Well,
Share
you're
more
going to see
details?
tomorrow. We're going to do it tomorrow, but I think it's a very big factor. I think you'll see what it is tomorrow. We have various things, but you'll see what it is tomorrow. I think it's going to be a very important news conference. And we want things to take effect immediately. You know, if there's a question, even if there's a question, you just do it, right? But great research has been done. You know, if you think that, let's say 15 years ago, they had 1 in 10,000 were born with autism. And now it's, think of it, 1 in 12, 1 in 10. Boys, 1 in 10 or 12. 2 different studies. Girls, it's 1 in 20. Can you imagine 1 in 20? And let's see, 22 years ago, it was 1 in 20,000. But it got down to 1 in 10,000 about 17 years ago. And now it's 1 in 12. Actually, boys are 1 in 12 and 1 in 10. I mean, can you imagine 1 in 10? And it was 1 in 20,000? So there's obviously something artificial that's really wrong. And we think we know what that is.
Are you planning to announce any link between vaccines and autism?
Tomorrow. Vaccines are very interesting. They can be great, but when you put the wrong stuff in them, they don't. And you know, children get these massive vaccines like you'd give to a horse. Like you'd give to a horse. And I've said for a long time, I mean, this is no secret, spread them out over 5 years. Get 5 shots, small ones. And you ever see what they give? They give, I mean, for a little baby to be injected with that much fluid, even beyond the actual ingredients. They have sometimes 80 different vaccines in them. It's crazy. It's you know, that's a common sense thing too. It's like you're shooting up a horse. You have a little body, a little baby, and you're pumping this big thing. It's a horrible thing. So I've always felt that. But we'll be having a big discussion tomorrow about autism.
Mr. President, your son had a very welcoming message today, welcoming people to the Republican Party. Love of country, love of family, love of God. So I asked you, what did the Democrats stand for at this point?
I think chaos, confusion, anger. They're losers. They don't even want to extend the opening. We have a very successful country. If we gave them everything they wanted, they're deranged. If we gave them everything they wanted, they wouldn't extend, in my opinion. You know, they say, oh, they want to meet with me. It's nonsense, but I'll meet with them. But no, they're angry, and they took a big loss, and they're doing worse now than they were during the election. So, you know, they're doing very badly. I don't think, actually, I think they stand for chaos. They stand for nothing.
Mr. President, I'm with the Daily Wire, and we've been doing a lot of investigating up with these transgender shooters. We reported on Friday that the Kavanaugh attempted assassin actually identifies as transgender, and we just wanted to get your reaction to that and see if you had heard.
Wow, it's too bad. It's a very sad thing going on with that, and I'll have to take a look at it. We have to protect our Supreme Court judges and justices, and Justice Kavanaugh's a great guy. I mean, it's horrible. He's been through a lot with this. All of them have, in a way. They didn't give him the proper protection, and we are giving. You saw what, you know, numerous bills, but we just passed another one. We have to protect the Supreme Court. We have to.
And on that same note, there's been so many different shooters who either Charlie's killer lives with a guy who's transgender, the Annunciation shooter was transgender, the Covenant shooter was transgender. Should the FBI be investigating transgender extremism?
You know, we're looking at that, and it seems like, you know, is that just a, what's the reason for it? Yeah, there seems to be something, but we're looking at it very strongly. Something seems to be going on, but you can't make that statement yet.
Mr.
We're looking at it
President,
very closely.
Mr. President, back in 2020, 2021, you were banned from Twitter, Facebook, basically every single platform on God's green earth, sir. And now, Many people on the left want to throw out cries about First Amendment claims after Jimmy Kimmel's show was canceled. Do you find it hypocritical, sir, after what they did to you?
You know, I did his show before I ran for politics. I did his show many times, and he was never one of the top people. Do you remember during the Academy Awards when he read my truth just before giving out the Best Picture Award? And I said, and what he read was that he's the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. Look, Jimmy Kimmel suffers from two things. First of all, he said a terrible thing about Charlie, but he also suffers from the fact that he's got no talent and he's got no ratings. A deadly combination. That's deadly, right?
When's the National Guard going to be arriving in Memphis? He said they'd be coming soon.
Yeah, very soon, and we're going to straighten that up, just like we straightened out Washington. And we're not letting Washington go, by the way. We're not letting. If we didn't go there, Washington right now would be leading the nation in crime. I mean, D.C. leading the nation in crime, and we have it down. I mean, it is a beautiful thing. And every person I meet is saying, "Thank you, sir." They don't care whether it's a National Guard. They don't care what it is. They're not being raped, mugged, shot. Washington, D.C. is now a very safe city. And you know what? I drove through it yesterday. You probably saw. Everything was nice. The grass was. I thought I'd replace the grass. Much of it doesn't have to be replaced. It looks so beautiful. It was so well maintained. And that's by us.
They're getting ready to go to the UN this week, where there's going to be a major push for a two-state solution. Obviously, the U.S. and Israel have not signed on to that. Is there still a possibility in your mind that there could be a diplomatic solution to this conflict?
So I'd like to see a diplomatic solution. There's a lot of anger and a lot of hatred, you know that. And there has been for a lot of years. This is not something new, but hopefully we'll get something done. We're studying Gaza and dealing with Gaza very strongly. That's a real mess.
The investigation is still ongoing into Charlie Kirk's killer and whether he had ties to groups, but do you have a sense now of whether he
Look, they've seen a lot for an investigation that's ongoing. I think they've done an incredible job.
have they
Even
found
the shells, I mean, the shells, so many different things. I mean, what's to say?
have they found direct links to
You mean about other people?
and like does that affect your decision about how to proceed in terms of pursuing these
I think, as far as I'm concerned, but they're going to do a final report. Whether other people involved is what you're asking. It would look to me like not. Now, he did have a friend, but I don't. The friend seemed to be a little bit surprised.
Mr. President, in regards to Pam Bondi, who should she focus on as far as bringing accountability?
Everybody, really. It's a big office. She's doing a good job, but focus on everybody. There are a lot of crooked people that were here before me. You had people that almost destroyed our country. If I didn't win this election, our country would be destroyed. We wouldn't have a country right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank you very much.
Thank you.